Aloha. Welcome to TMDR, the Maui Daily Report for Wednesday, March 12th, 2025. I'm Chivo Ching Johnson. These are some of the stories that may interest you today. The Maui Police Commission has a major decision to make next Wednesday, March 19th, on whether or not to act on Mayor Bisson's recommendation to place Maui Police Chief John Pelletier on administrative leave, based on allegations in a lawsuit that the chief was involved in a conspiracy of a gang rape orchestrated by rapper Sean Diddy Combs back in 2018. To be clear, Chief Pelletier has not been charged with any crime and vigorously denies the allegations. In the meantime, he remains chief until the Maui Police Commission decides what to do. President Trump's got a thing for tariffs against Canada, and that is not a good thing for Maui, since a lot of Canadians like to come here to escape the frozen north. Now, not so much. This past weekend, Susan Webb from Vox International, the company providing marketing services to Canada, said 37% more Canadians visited Hawaii in January than visited from Japan, making Canadians the top international visitors. With tariffs upsetting Canadians, many of whom are not pleased with the label 51st Staters, from now on, Hawaii tourism from Canada is expected to weaken. Canadians make up the biggest visitor bloc, particularly for Maui. Congresswoman Jill Tokuda will be holding a series of town hall meetings across the state beginning next week. Representative Tokuda will be on Maui next Tuesday, March 18th, at Maui College in the Paina building from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. Topics of discussion will be the Trump administration's actions, policies affecting Hawaii, and she will answer questions from community members. Please RSVP and find more information at this website. The Hawaii Department of Transportation is advising highway users to use caution and expect delays on Saturday as the Valley to the Sea Half Marathon, along with its 10K and 5K races, run through the Wailuku and Maui area. The 10K race begins at 6 a.m., the 5K race begins at 6:10 a.m., and the half marathon race begins at 6:30 a.m. Police officers will be stationed at major intersections during these races. Cones will be set up for the race around 5:30 a.m. For more information, you can Google Valley to the Sea Half Marathon. The Hawaii Home Ownership Center collaborated with key stakeholders to release a new report examining how construction lawsuits might be hindering some ownership opportunities in Hawaii. The report reveals that construction defect lawsuits have grown substantially over the past 25 years, resulting in settlements reaching tens to hundreds of millions of dollars. Rising litigation risks and construction costs have driven up insurance costs for developers, increasing financing expenses for home buyers. Additionally, units involved in litigation are often excluded from FHA and VA loans, making financing more expensive and more difficult to secure. On Tuesday, March 18th, Kala Velasio, Community Engagement Coordinator for Habitat for Humanity Maui, will be the speaker at the Rotary Club of Lahaina Sunset meeting. Velasio will share how Habitat for Humanity Maui is helping local families achieve safe and affordable housing, especially as the island continues its recovery efforts. The meeting will be held in the Lahaina Noon Restaurant at the Royal Lahaina Resort and Bungalows from 4:30 to 5:30 p.m. To attend in person, email Club Service Chair Laura Stanton at this email address. Hotel giant Hilton is expanding on Maui, even though island tourism growth is reportedly stuck. These new hotels promise more options for travelers, according to Hilton, but there is still controversy about the future of Maui's tourism after this Lahaina fire. We've seen the housing market under stress, growing tension between development and community, and visitors speaking out that they no longer feel welcome as they did in the past. The global hotel giant is bucking the trend with 2 new properties. As luxury branded accommodations dominate, locally owned hotels are being squeezed out, leaving Maui's tourism landscape increasingly in the hands of global corporations. Here's an idea to keep vegetation in check to prevent wildfires. Release the sheep and the goats to eat the grass. Livestock specialists at UH are touting the utility of target grazing, noting that it is more cost-effective than any other methods of clearing flammable vegetation, like paying for weed whacking or spreading costly herbicides or poisons. Not only that, it is a good business opportunity since the grazing market in Hawaii is underdeveloped. Sometimes goats can save the day. On Kauai, 800 feet above sea level, 24 volunteers embarked on a nearly 24-mile trek to clear debris left behind from an inert testing missile that crashed more than 60 years ago on a Department of Hawaiian Homeland's parcel. Discovered in 2022, the missile debris was uncovered after years of grazing by a herd of feral goats. The debris field was examined by police, Navy security, and spill prevention, and determined to pose no threat to the environment, but another stray missile might. Maui State Representative Justin Woodson announced that the House draft of the state budget includes a proposed $100 million appropriation to cover the remaining funds needed for the construction of Central Maui Elementary and Middle School. The legislature has already allocated $39 million for that school, and planning and design work is underway. The Hawaii School Facilities Authority has estimated that construction could begin as early as 2029. If passed, the budget will be sent to the Senate for further review. Girls just want to have fun. And an after-school program called Surf and Turf, open to girls ages 11 to 17, combines surf therapy, hiking, and Hawaiian cultural practices to build confidence and resilience. Sessions will take place every Wednesday in April from 1:30 to 4 p.m. Activities will alternate between surfing with professional female instructors and hiking I'au Valley. Girls can sign up for individual sessions or all 4. Space is limited and early registration is encouraged at this address. Any of us that surf or have surfed in the past know how healing a good session can be. Now there are some thoughts on surf therapy and how it has helped them in the past. Check this out.
When the coronavirus became a real threat in Hawaii, Lahaina mother Rachel Stephen was forced to quarantine with her autistic son, and she, like most parents, was at a loss.
At the time, all services were closed for the school, and my child was having a really hard time.
But then came the Surf Clinics of Maui, a local company that offers one-on-one surfing lessons for people just like Hunter.
People who think they would never surf ever in their life, that's what I'm looking for. Looking for the challenge, but obviously in a safe way. Work a lot with traumatic brain injury, adults and children, as well as kids and adults on the spectrum of autism, paraplegic. Well, once the pandemic hit, a lot of my clients already had the structure set into their week of surfing, surf therapy. Then came the pandemic, so we just continued. Started attracting a lot of other kids, verbal and nonverbal on the spectrum, as well as people that just want to get out of their house and get a little surf therapy.
Rachel said not only did this service help her and her son cope during this challenging time, but it's also offered Hunter a chance to interact with other neurotypical children and make new friends.
This could be called autism inclusion, inclusive, where we're not just doing like awareness, we're doing acceptance. Hunter's able to surf alongside neurotypical developing children, and they're able to model, safe and kind and loving behavior, and they're able to have just, these connections that he normally couldn't have, with school being closed right now. There's just not those opportunities. Of course, I just hope it grows and more people like Banyan's parents come together. I hope that autism inclusion of all sorts, acceptance is just something that is more natural.
This is Megan Mosley for Akaku.
The Maui Chamber of Commerce has announced that the 4th annual BizMix Maui will take place Saturday, March 29th at the Grand Wailea Resort. This year's theme is Vintage Aloha, to celebrate the charm of vintage Maui with retro Hawaiian vibes, mid-century decor, and nostalgic elements from the 50s and 60s. BizMix Maui is the signature fundraiser to benefit the work of the Maui Chamber of Commerce. Visit mauichamber.com for all of the information. Up next, one small business owner from Molokai explains some of the challenges of starting up a small business in Maui County.
Aloha, my name is Kenny Adachi of IB 808 Apparel. We are a Kanaka-owned and operated family business out of Molokai. We center around local and Hawaiian culture. We actually started printing in 02 03. My grandpa, who adopted me, who raised me, he was Molokai's first screen printer. So as he got older, he needed help maintaining his business. So he asked me for help, and from there we carried on his legacy. So my grandpa has since passed, but that's what got me into the printing industry. I'd say what makes us different and what helps us to stay successful is the fact that I'd say 85 to 90% of our product in our store is printed by myself in my shop. We base our products off of Hawaiian culture. What makes us different, our brand different, is a lot of our prints are how I feel about certain subjects. So I'm able to express myself without expressing myself. I put it on a shirt. If you agree with what I'm saying, you'll buy the shirt. And that's what keeps us different and helps us to find success here. Aside from our store, we also offer custom printing services. So we do services we provide uniforms for some of our Molokai schools, as well as some of our Molokai businesses. We also have some on the outer islands as well. So we do offer custom printing services as well as our products. So if I could give any advice for our future entrepreneurs or people who are just thinking about maybe taking this route, just go for it. I myself am not a risk taker per se, so it was a huge leap for me to take that chance of leaving my 9-to-5 job to pursue running our own store and being independent. But it's the best decision I've ever made. Just go for it, and you don't need to have everything figured out right now. You can figure it out along the way.
The Hawaii Farmers Union is hiring 3 full-time field technicians for West Maui's Pu'uwai restoration project. They're looking for environmentally passionate individuals who are interested in agriculture work. Field technicians are hands-on in reforestation efforts, fire safety, and ecosystem restoration, building a sustainable agricultural future for Hawaii. Applicants can visit Indeed.com for more information. Blood Bank of Hawaii will host its first Maui Blood Drive of the year, March 18th through the 20th, at the Cameron Center, which is located up at 95 Mahalani Street in Wailuku. The 3-day drive gives the community an opportunity to donate blood and save lives. Here are the Maui Blood Drive dates and times. Tuesday, March 18th from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Wednesday, March 19th from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Thursday, March 20th from 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. Please donate blood. It saves lives. The Coast Guard Honolulu Command Center received a notification yesterday around noon that 2 orange unmanned adrift kayaks were recovered 2 miles southeast of Lanai. If anyone has information about these kayaks, please contact 808-842-2600. And that's it for today's Maui Daily Report. Mahalo for joining us, and please keep watching Akaku, channels 53, 54, and 55. You can watch Akaku at akaku.org or on your phone 24/7 with our app Maui Stream. This is how we stay connected. I'm Chivo Cheng Johnson. Have a fantastic Wednesday night. Be well, stay healthy, and keep smiling. Aloha.